I'm just going to talk to an expert in a tick about Ukraine and developments overnight, the missile strikes coming across close to Kyiv from Russia. What are we hearing from the government? Talk today, they're going to send these bushmasters. I spoke about that last night. They're better off over there than sitting in garages here. But what else is on the table?
Well, you'd think a lot of that would be held back for the budget, so they have a positive announcement when there's a lot of negative in there in terms of budget cuts and the like. Richard Marles, yes, he did surprise today a bit when he talked about sending troops to do troop training. Now, you wouldn't expect that in Ukraine, but we know that's occurred in the UK, so perhaps it could occur there. Richard Marles has recently been over there. In Poland too, other allies of Britain and Australia have been looking to base some training camps. So I think that's what we're potentially looking at, and that is a big move by the Australian government.
All right, and just quickly, Jim Chalmers, pretty grim economic warnings as he headed off for Washington. Is he trying to condition us ahead of the budget in a fortnight?
Well, either that or he's one of the biggest pessimists I've ever seen in politics, Peter. I mean, the guy got the job. And he basically, from what I've been able to glean since, just got the PFO numbers, the numbers that were publicly available, no real update in terms of taking office, and immediately got up in a press conference, said the situation was dire, and he hasn't stopped that rhetoric since. Now, Peter Dutton, I saw you use that grab before. He's saying, well, he's talking down consumer confidence, he's talking down the economy. There's no doubt he is doing that. Maybe apart from anything else, he wants to curb household spending to get a curb on inflation. But otherwise, it's not that logical, except, as you say, it is about when the budget cuts come, if any tax measures come, we'll be waiting for that, but we know they're not changing stage 3. He needs to be able to say this is the reason. And so at one point, Anthony Albanese was billing it as a mini budget. Doesn't really sound like it at the moment, does it? I think there'll be cuts of programs and potentially efficiency dividends in there. And he's even talking to his Labor base too in that respect, I think, Peter, in excusing the budget he's about to deliver. Look, of course, it's a grim situation globally, but Australia has proved pretty resilient, the economy, and even he had to admit today that Australia may not have a recession out of this. In fact, probably won't.
Yeah, well, never underestimate how quickly a government can stuff things up. We remember what Kevin Rudd inherited, no net debt, money in the bank from John Howard, and look where he ended up a couple of years later. Andrew Clennell, thank you as always.